Chairman of the new league speaks for the very first time at Real Madrid's Florentino.
Developments overnight as well.
And the other thing that I think has been missing is perhaps owners, chairmen of football clubs in this country who are involved in it coming out to talk about it. Silence. Just no one wants to speak about it. Well, apart from one person, there's been a huge backlash. And there are obviously powerful figures in the game, though, who are convinced this is the right way to go, none more so than Real Madrid's president and the chairman of the newly formed European Super League, Florentino Perez. He has been talking about the motivations behind the breakaway competition and insists that rather than destroying the game, as many critics fear, he says it's going to save it. Well, here's what he had to say. That was a really interesting interview. He went on to say, of course, we've heard from UEFA, there's a possibility that English clubs in the Champions League, Europa League could be banned from playing. He said that simply will not happen. Do not worry, this is not true. Players will not be banned from international matches. That, of course, is just his opinion. One of the things that came out from that interview is, of course, I think what they're trying to do is encourage, he says, younger football fans. So younger football fans want a different tournament. They want to see the biggest teams playing on the biggest stage more regularly. And that is something that is really up for debate, isn't it? Because I'm not entirely sure that's true.
Another thing they said that really annoyed, I think, quite a few football fans yesterday is they referred to sort of two types of fans, didn't they? They said the legacy fans, sort of the traditional fans that they've had before, and those they're trying to catch in the future. I just think that it's not like, Sal, that footballers always, fans have felt disenfranchised for a long time and felt distanced from their club for a long time, but this did feel like a different step, didn't it?
It's even worse, isn't it? It's even worse than paying a really high price for the kit, not being able to afford a season ticket, not being able to afford simply or even get a ticket for a game that you want to go to, which I think is so difficult for fans. This is another step on, isn't it? Well, we will be speaking to former England captain Alan Shearer about this a little bit later in the programme. That's around 7:30, so it will be interesting to see what he thinks about all of this. I think I already know. I can guess.
I think he'd probably be quite strong and competing. If you can't lose, it's not sport.
It's not sport, it's not a competition. That's kind of the point.
Yeah.
Right. See you later.
I mean, I don't even know what you're going to mention.
It's been a quiet couple of days, hasn't it? I tell you what, do you know what I've noticed going through the papers this morning? Takes a lot to unite football fans. You know, fans from big clubs who've been rivals for generations. You think about Manchester United and Liverpool, the London clubs, all of these clubs involved. Look at them there. All of these clubs involved in this proposed new European Super League. The fans are now more united, I think, than we have ever seen before, and with good reason. Huge amounts of reaction to these plans continuing to come in from across the footballing world, including now current players on social media and those from the Big Six too. Manchester United's Bruno Fernandes. Well, the Super League also dominated the talk both before and after the Premier League match between Leeds and Liverpool last night. We saw earlier the fans' protests outside Ellen Road, while Leeds forward Patrick Bamford was also critical of the proposals. Tottenham are another one of the clubs who have confirmed they will be part of the new breakaway league, and this morning they are looking for a new boss. That's after they sacked Jose Mourinho after just 17 months in charge, as Joe Wilson reports. Interesting timing of that announcement yesterday. Of course, Jose Mourinho being sacked, I think, would have been a big story for the rest of the day, slightly overshadowed by the European Super League proposals.
Absolutely right. And thanks, Ali. See you later. We'll continue talking about it.
The chairman of the new league speaks for the very first time. Real Madrid's
new plan, which has not gone down at all well, has it?
It really hasn't. And I've got a couple of really brilliant quotes which sound like they could be from a Bond film coming up. Are you ready for this?
Go on.
Go on then.
A disgraceful, self-serving plan and, get this, a spit in the face of football lovers. That is how serious this is. That's how UEFA President Alexander Ceferin has described plans for a European Super League. Lots to talk about on this morning. Let's speak now to the Premier League's all-time leading goal scorer. First of all, how disappointed are you about this? What do you feel about this proposal? You have experience of working with club owners who at times have been, shall we say, challenging to work with. Thinking about your club, Newcastle. What power do the fans have? What power do the players have against these hugely powerful, wealthy billionaire owners?
Well, they have a lot of power. They've proved that in the past when...
Or Jurgen Klopp, he had to speak to the media, didn't he, because Liverpool were playing Leeds. We saw Leeds players protesting with their T-shirt. We saw Jurgen Klopp, who's already spoken about how he simply doesn't agree with this proposal. And people, so you're right, managers are now in a difficult position. What would someone like Jurgen Klopp be able to do when dealing with those owners?
Well, he was in a really difficult situation.
The big European clubs, I'm thinking about Dortmund, I'm thinking about Bayern Munich, Paris Saint-Germain, who have not signed up to this. Is there perhaps a little bit of a route down that way? If those other clubs take a stand, might that damage this proposal?
You've got to admire
the situation be like if Harry Kane is told he's not allowed to play an international game, what can he then do? That must be a terrible situation for a player to be in. Of the clubs that are not involved in this, and part of the problem is the Premier League is so successful. This is the league that everybody wants a part of. 6 Premier League clubs have signed up to this. What can the clubs who are left behind do at this meeting today? How much power do they have?
Well, they have a lot of power.
Yeah, listening really carefully to what you're saying to Sal. Feels like a big 24 hours ahead, doesn't it?
I genuinely just had to take a big deep breath there.
Ban them. So there you go, ban them.
Yeah, that's the record Premier League goal scorer saying chuck him out of the Premier League.
Yeah.
Wow. OK, should we move on?
Shall we? Chairman of the new league speaks out for the first time.
The concern, the outrage, you know, with so much we don't know about the future of football, and it's going on, isn't it?
That's because the people who are organising the European Super League haven't said very much yet. We haven't seen, we've seen Florentino Perez come out and talk, but we haven't seen much from the people who are on the inside of this whole new idea. Huge amounts of reaction to this, of course, continuing to come in from across the footballing world. This is the European Super League, which includes current players on social media who've been talking about it and those from the Big Six. Manchester United's Bruno Fernandes said on... Well, there were some strong and forthright views from the former England captain Alan Shearer too, who joined us just around an hour ago. And today, the 14 other Premier League sides outside of the Big Six will hold talks about the next steps. And Shearer says while the clubs could come together to try and ban those involved, a solution should be found. Not mincing his words there. It does sound a bit mad, doesn't it, when you think a competition where other clubs are simply not allowed in up to a certain degree and you are guaranteed your place because you're the biggest or the richest.
Thank you very much, Sally, for dissecting it all for us this morning and looking to the future a little bit as much as we can. Thank you.
It's not, yeah.